Okay, guys, we are here at the 2019 TM1 and Planning Analytics User Conference in Sydney. We are here to talk about Cubewise CARE, post-implementation support. Cubewise CARE has been in existence for some years around Cubewise, around the world. Here in Sydney, we have decided recently to ramp up our efforts under that brand, and to that end, I'm joined by Nimeesh Kaushal, who is heading up the effort of Cubewise CARE in Sydney, and I'm going to have a little chat to him about that. So, welcome, Nimeesh.
Thank you.
First of all, what is Cubewise CARE?
Cubewise CARE actually provides certain support packages for businesses that are seeking support options, support models. So we've got certain categories for support options, packages that are basically provided for businesses that are looking for help desk type of support, first, second level, third level support. And that's also broken down into the type of service level agreements that they're seeking with guaranteed response times. Of course, you can reach out based on those categories, reach out for, you can contact us via email, phone, obviously via ticketing system. Mm-hmm. So there's obviously guaranteed response times attached to it, different modes of communication. There's also an extra element of pre-purchase credits that can be used for BAU support type of activities, production support type of activities. So there's all sorts of options that are available for support categories. And then we have managed services options as well, which is built on more proactive manner, basically for customers that are seeking managed services.
Okay, that's quite a span.
Yes.
Bit of a, I guess, traditional help desk support, and then you manage managed services. I mean, that can mean many things to many people. We know that, I guess. So maybe elaborate a little bit more on that, what that actually means inside Cubewise CARE, what the thinking is on that.
Yeah, so managed services, the definition that we define for managed services is that, of course, providing the help desk support is important, but it's also important for systems to get the proactive, support that it needs. For example, continuously driving improvements and driving growth within the TM1 system is also a vital piece for the general health of the TM1 ecosystem. So we feel that providing that continuous engagement in different forms via managed services is quite vital, is quite important. Mm-hmm. And for example, having a designated technical account manager that knows about your system, is aware of how your model has evolved, understands your history of your model, is quite a catalyst in driving those sort of improvements back into the system. So an example for that would be pre-defined engaged sessions that would be set up for specific X amount of hours or X amount of times during a month. Mm-hmm. That would basically allow the TAM person, technical account manager, to be on site, on the ground, or maybe even off-site, sort of pushing the conversations with the business and trying to, showcase the changes that are required and really prep up the environment for perhaps future requirements and future changes that may come down. So in a nutshell, those are the options, and it's built on a proactive nature.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. I guess managed services will also entail all the sort of more traditional stuff of monitoring the system and making sure the lights on, high availability, monitoring the use of of the system.
Yes.
that's kind of two extremes, I guess.
Yep.
You mentioned that the managed service is very proactive and it's very hands-on, and you're very immersed in the business and trying to improve the system on a continuous basis. And then you got the sort of traditional help desk stuff sitting over here.
Absolutely.
With service levels attached and a ticketing system and that sort of stuff. I guess they're kind of two extremes. There's a lot of space in between where a company might go and say, well, I don't really need this, I don't really need all of that. I might need a little bit of this and a little bit of this stuff over here. That sounds good. Can we kind of, and maybe something you haven't even said yet, can also have some of that? Can we, so basically, can we mix it up and can you do me a package?
Yeah, no.
Is that something that you would be open to do?
Absolutely, no. I think there isn't a one-size-fits-all sort of a scenario. There are obviously options that, as you mentioned, standard support options that are available, and there's obviously the managed services aspect of it. But I think there are options that can be actually tailor-made for businesses' specific needs or specific requirements. For example, historically, if the businesses understand that during typical month-end times or typical forecast year-end times, there's a heavy activity that requires someone to be on-site, dedicated for a dedicated resource for those activities. Those could be customized, and a tailor-made solution can be prepared and provided as an option. So, and certain other examples could be that the dedicated resource can partake into feedback sessions on site. That's continuously pushing for that continuous engaging environment to understand where the system is, how the system is evolving. And I do want to point out that Pulse is a very critical aspect here. So the information that Pulse provides, the KPIs that Pulse provides and generates is
maybe just quickly explain what Pulse is in a few words.
Yes. So Pulse is a Cubewise product, and Pulse basically allows you the monitoring capabilities, the capabilities that gives you insights into your TM1 environment, gives you information that you need for a stable and a healthy environment, and it's a very key critical component of, as I mentioned, for the care packages as well. So it's a very critical aspect, and it's driving that information that you need to have that sort of information for businesses to continue driving that improvements back into the TM1 systems.
Okay, that sounds good. So you're open for pretty much anything that has to do with keeping a healthy system
correct
running and supported.
Yes,
that's an overarching, I guess.
That's the mission.
Yes, that's the mission.
Yes,
so that's a good way of putting it. I guess maybe something that's also relevant is something like what business hours do you support? Like, would you support? Obviously normal business hours, outside business hours.
Yep.
What about global support if I wanted that?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We've obviously got office hour support, but we've also got weekend hour support, non-business hour support as well. So depending upon the packages that I mentioned to you about, there's different categories of expanded or specific business hours or non-business hours that support's needed. So those options are there. So businesses or customers can contact in those type of hours, whether it's business hours 9 to 5, or it's actually 9 to 6, or it's actually evening hours or weekend hours. And there's obviously different modes of communication as well, as I mentioned. So email, through a ticketing system, through a website. So there's all ways of communicating and getting in touch with us.
That sounds great. And I guess so if people are interested in hearing more about this, they should contact Cubewise, clearly.
Yes, absolutely.
And you'll be more than happy to take that call and
get the conversation started.
Going.
Yeah, we've met a few customers here that have actually initiated those sort of questions, and any customers seeking additional information, whether it's from Melbourne area, Brisbane area, Queensland area, contact the Cubewise local resource. And they can get in touch with me or Cubewise, anyone from Cubewise, and we'll be able to take the conversation to the next stage and get going.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, Nimeesh.
Thank you so much, Thomas. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. And thank you guys. Thanks for listening in. Believe that's the last interview for the day. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.